Welcome back one and all to Let's Play some Final Fantasy XIV. Today we're going to handle a brand new dungeon from patch 2.2. So we're going to talk to the Master of the Conjurers Guild here. What's up, man? Uh-oh. Sure, why not? Alright. You'll actually learn more about the, her two siblings if you do the White Mage job quests. But otherwise, they're pretty absent from the story. Obviously, we did see the younger sister briefly, during the King Mog primal nonsense. And I'm totally going the wrong way. Sup, Rhea? What's going on? How are you Moogle friends doing? Oh? Oh, hey, dude. Oh, nightmares, that's not good. No bueno. Okay. Well, that's awfully convenient, but this means we won't have to come back here. That's good. So thankfully, this place is right around the corner. Look at all these revenants hanging around here. Tell me, sir, does your neck hurt from looking up at me that close? Alright, so hooray! So we're gonna go ahead and queue up for that. Alrighty. So welcome to the Wonderland that is the lost city of Amdapor. I'm actually somewhat fond of this place. Simply because the atmosphere is so darn different, and if I was smart, there's something I'm looking for on... There we go. That I should have put on my hotbar from the start. So pardon that. So So I like the music in this place. I love the atmosphere. There's like pollen in the air everywhere. It's just like a far cry from like the damp, dank dungeon-y kind of stuff that is usually seen in dungeons. I mean, it still falls under the cliche of, you know, like a decrepit old place, but it's got such a different feel to it. Awesome, I already did that. So these little gremlins here, they say mean things to you, and they make you very, very upset. But if you can comfort the players, and it takes the debuff away. I totally forgot about that until, Celine, will you stop dying on me? Until I came in, because I've only really done this as DPS, and usually the healer ends up doing it, because obviously the DPS is too busy DPSing! Here comes a gremlin sneaking up on us. He's like, do, I can't walk up these stairs really fast because I got really tiny legs. So there's mold and stuff like everywhere. Yes, he's like, go and bugger yourself. You're so mean, Mr. Gremlin. What did I ever do to you? So these little blobby eye guys will continue to appear until you destroy this mold colony. These tainted molds are pretty much, they just explode on contact sort of thing. And then it shrivels up and dies. Get giant moss and giant scorpion guys. And the wildlife in here is absolutely out of control. No wonder everyone's saying it's unbalanced. Jesus. Now these treasure chests here, notice there's two of them. One of them is a trap. In this case, it's the one on the right is the good one. The other one is like that magic box, like treasure chest. Thankfully, the order, there's actually another one later in the dungeon, but thankfully the order never actually changes, so it's always going to be the same one. I think it would be a little bit more interesting if it was randomized, but then, unless you put actually good loot in it, people would just ignore them as a whole and kind of defeat the purpose. So I hate it when my macros don't go up. There we go. So this guy is a Gobu who is, has like a half-decayed stomach. And he's gonna choose somebody to eat. But thankfully we can beat the poop out of his stomach and set them free. But the interesting thing is, there is a mechanic to this that pretty much everyone ignores because there's not really as much of a need to use it. Is, see how this tether line, someone can actually intercept this and take the prey status away from you, giving you another buff called Slippery Prey, making you immune to the prey effect for a couple seconds. And you can actually keep passing that back and forth between players. But it really serves almost no purpose in the end because the maw really doesn't do much damage to you and it's very easy to destroy, so it's not really worth it playing hot potato with it. And we're kicking his butt a little bit too quickly here, not in a bad way. He also likes to shoot giant puddles of like growth, which, like, I think they poisoned you or something. It's been a long time since I've actually done this dungeon. But it leaves like a nice big AoE on the floor, so you may have to move the boss, but it's no big deal. The room is rather large anyway. Yeah, again, I absolutely love the music in this place, how it's like wintry wonderlandy, but instead of it being like snow that's around, it's freaking like mold and pollen and stuff. I mean, at one level it's kind of creepy, but at the same time, it has that like that beautiful eeriness to it at the same time. You get like a dancing mushroom down there. So here we just have another mold colony. Will not be the last we've seen of, we'll see of them. So here we have a new little gimmick of this lovely slime stuff. It actually has two different effects, one of which, if you stand in it, it will poison you. And the other is it actually gives a damage up buff to these ads, so you want to actually pull them out of it. As you can see, they have, one of them is sitting in it and the other is not, and one of them has a buff. Some groups just pull it out forward, others will pull it all the way forward out of it. Down the stairs. Just personal preference. But thankfully, once you defeat them, the lovely pile, I thought I'd turn color extents off, damn it, goes away. So that's cool. So in this case, the non-booby trap chest is on the left. We have more of these meaty pants dragonflies. So down here, not only do we have to contend with this mold colony, we have the pile of evil, disgusting, vile fluid to contend with as well. But still perfectly manageable. No big deal. Already at the second boss here, which is actually one of my more favorite bosses in the game, just because it's actually something different. The actual boss is this little creature that's flying around who is currently pissed off at me, and you have these little moths here who are gonna constantly be spawning. Now the boss actually has no aggro table of their own. Instead, once you kill these ads, they have like a frontal cone that spits out and gives you this stacking debuff on you. Some kind of scales or something, which is actually what triggers the boss to come down, because he will go after the person with the highest amount of these scales. So it's up to the tank to actually get hit on purpose with these scales to entice the boss to come down. If nobody has any stacks of any of these scales, the boss will go flying back up into the sky, and he'll actually heal himself quite significantly. So basically the tank goes around and picks up these ads, and people kill him. So the poor tank gets hit with a debuff. And lather, rinse, repeat. Still pretty simple, but I like it because it's just so different that it isn't just, I mean, the fight itself for everyone else is your typical take and spank, but the tank actually gets to do something else for once. And they don't just get to stand there, they actually have to do work, and that's not really a shot at tanks, but there are a ton of them who don't know how to do what they're doing. now we get purple fire? What? Now down here, you can't see it obviously in my... Okay, you can see it on the map. Okay. We're now in the Sanctum of Dreams, and as you can see, it is very different looking. But I still like it. Still got that kind of creepy castle, like generic look to it, but in a good way. It's not just like simply like an old fortress or anything like that that's in disrepair. So the reason we had to pull those little guys out is because of this many-faced creepy dude right here, who is immune to attacks until we destroy this mage stone. So you destroy him and he becomes vulnerable. And sometimes dealing with him and the adds while you're having the DPS attack the mage stones can be a little bit too much. It's not uncommon for the tank to just pull everything in here and just deal with it. And a mysterious glowy walkway just appeared. Okay. Kind of pretty. And random treasure chest in the middle of nowhere, which is actually never booby-trapped. I think it would be funnier if it was booby-trapped about half the time. Now here we have a bunch more mage stones to contend with. These eyes originally were all facing toward the middle, and it was actually possible to sneak behind them without pulling the big face guy, whose name I cannot pronounce. It wasn't very easy, and just one person screwing it up could, you know, meant the difference between failure and success, but they kind of changed it so these dirty eyes now have a much larger field of vision, making it impossible, but it was fun to do while we still had the chance. Little black mage is slowly taking out those mage stones carefully enough without pulling that guy. So we're down to this one. Look how creepy this is. Like, oh my god. Like, what the hell is this thing? It does look like something out of somebody's nightmares. Now we have another mysterious walkway and a big giant platform. A waking nightmare. Oh jeez. So this boss actually has a gimmick to it, which my group is actually going to ignore. And that involves these doors. There's 4 different symbols above them, and they will disappear after a few seconds. Usually what somebody does is mark the matching pairs of doors, because what symbol appears above what door is indeed random. So you only have a few seconds to figure out which ones match. Which is important for our mechanic later, which we are going to utterly ignore. Oh, somebody stunned the ultimate terror. So eventually he's going to cast Ruinous Omen. This is what we need the doors for, because when we open a single set of matching pair of doors, it's actually going to open a gate to the void, which will allow us to actually avoid this attack in its entirety. It does require some timing to get off, but yeah, as you can see, this move does a lot of damage. But since he's already half dead, by the time he gets the second one off, because this debuff we have on us now will increase the damage we take from it, he's going to be dead before the second one gets off, so you can completely skip it. Nightmare, which can be stunned, and he might be stun resistant right now, puts you to sleep for a couple seconds. Not too big of a deal if you miss it, but gives you more time to burst him down if you do. See, I've barely done anything in this fight, and he's like already almost dead. People used to wipe a lot on this guy simply because of the timing of the doors. Like, you had to do it just right, because if you got sucked into the void gate too early, the attack would still hit you, and if you did it too late, it would still hit you because it takes a couple seconds to suck you in. But thankfully now we can completely face roll it. So hooray! And unfortunately there's only one person left. Okay, fine. It's kind of poopy when you don't get to commend the person you want, but yeah, pretty easy place. Nothing too horrible. Like I said, I like it because it's such a different atmosphere to the whole thing, and it gives a bit more of a variety in dungeons. Can be a bit tricksy if you don't have people who don't know what they're doing in there, especially back in the day when nobody would want to handle the doors. Like, people would argue over who's marking, people would argue over who's open, people would be like, I don't know how to do it. And it's like, it's a matching game, it's not that freaking hard, and it just used to be a mess. But thankfully now we can completely face roll it, and we're like, mechanics? What are mechanics? Oh, we don't need any of that crap. So yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. We'll get back to other more important adventures next time. So thank you for watching, friends!